I'm Allendale Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Not looking at a ton of new information in at midday. What we've seen here so far is that cold air continues to hold over the eastern half of the country, but high pressure sits over Kansas City, and that means on the backside of that high we've got south winds going, and yeah, it's bringing a fairly significant warming trend in. Real interesting to see the surface map right now showing a warm front that goes all the way from northern parts of Saskatchewan all the way down to northern Mexico. That's the warm air that's going to be lifting through. It's going to kind of pull east and then northeast. So we expect significant warming over the plains here this afternoon. Probably will take us a couple of days to get that realized farther east, but it is coming, and we should see serious snow melt over the eastern part of the country as well. Basically, by the time we get into this weekend, we're going to be seeing temperatures back near normal in the Corn Belt, above normal in the plains. Next week, temperatures above normal over a large part of the country. Now, where models still are arguing quite a bit, we're not getting a clear-cut definitive look at what is coming, is toward the end of next week. The American model continues to show a fairly significant push of cold air coming. We agree there is cold air coming. Yesterday it brought it in a little bit earlier, and it's kind of sticking with that so far today. What we're also seeing, though, is a significant push of moisture with that cold air. So this could be interesting, and we're talking already late next Friday into next weekend. There's plenty of time for the models to kind of change their tune and see if we want to do anything different. But for right now, it really looks to me like we could have a stormy mid-month pattern brewing if the cold air can come as advertised. Now, the other side of the equation is the cold air is coming earlier than maybe what it was shown about 4 to 5 days ago, but it's also leaving afterwards on the American model. The international model seemed to want to keep the colder air longer through the end of the month. So, for example, the GFS brings a cold shot, brings a stormy pattern next weekend into early parts of the week following, but by the time that we get to the 16th, we got a big push of liquid precipitation coming out of the deep south, coming out of Texas, moving up across the Corn Belt, bringing warm air with it. And then we see another cold air push followed by ridging across the country. International models seem to want to keep the cold air trough pattern in a little bit longer. So there's still plenty of things to work through. What we can say is we are going to be seeing a shift to completely dry weather from basically now over the region, over most of the key ag areas in the U.S., on through Thursday of next week. So we're putting together about a week's worth of dry weather. Then we could get stormy again. And the big question is that stormy rain? Does it have some snow? Is it super cold? Just colder? A lot of things still up in the air. Right now I'm leaning toward a wet forecast that's cold, but not maybe quite as cold as what some models are trying to put out. That's the domestic situation. Let's go overseas, where South America, honestly, to me, doesn't look too awful bad. If you look at a 10-day map of precipitation across Brazil, you'd be like, holy Toledo, 1 to 3 more inches of rain. What's up with this? Well, yeah, we've got a front that's going to be moving through most of Brazil from this weekend through next week, starting down in south and southeastern parts of the country and then moving across key bean areas. That's where a good chunk of the rain is coming from. But if you look at soybean areas where we're trying to get harvest going, we're still looking at a fairly significant hit and miss kind of pattern between now and late Sunday. You can even make the argument early Monday. So I think bean harvest is going to be able to continue pretty much unfettered. We may have to dodge some rains here and there, but generally speaking, this is a somewhat normal pattern. The front next week does move slow. I'll grant you that. We could be looking at delays in harvest as we go through next week on beans, but it shouldn't be the end of the world. In Argentina, a nice dry pattern settling in for at least a week. Precipitation that tries to pop up toward the end of next week looks pretty light. Temperatures are right in the prime zone for crop development. Finishing this crop out should be fantastic there. I see no major problems. That's what we've got in your forecast at midday. As always, if you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.